Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is Indian Express, 11th October 2016. Because of Durga Puja yesterday, we did not get the Hindu today, so I am covering the Indian Express as a compensation for you. Now, the first article, it is about India's developmental cooperation. So let's take this topic as the developmental cooperation. And what is the author's central point is this: India is emerging as a leader in the developmental cooperation. So it needs to develop the right infrastructure for the same. So G20, if you take about BIMSTEC, Africa and Asia's South-South cooperation, in all these places, India is bringing in a new perspective of development. So what this direction or what the direction it has to take is the major question now. So in this case, the author suggests that the development has to be aligned with the sustainable developmental goals. And then the development shall not be with aid conditionalities as like the West giving us. It in actuality alienates many of the countries. So the developmental aid has to be demand driven rather than conditionalities driven. Now we need to create a strong infrastructure and mechanisms to understand the aid effectiveness. What do we mean by the aid effectiveness over here? To what extent the impact is being created by the aid provided by India? So this is a new assertiveness India is showing with regard to the grants, aids, capacity building projects, and also a developmental assistance which is given by the country to various South Asian and African countries. So a new ministry shall be established for the same. Now, as of now, External Affairs Ministry, a department of International Developmental Management is taking care of this. So we need to create a new agency such as India's International Development Agency, and a minister shall head this particular agency because the amount of the money which we are spending on international developmental cooperation has tremendously increased. So these are the three suggestions given by this article. Now, Aradhya, now they're coming to so many complicities. So this is about Aradhya's death, a Jain girl in Hyderabad. She died after 68 days of fasting. Now in this article, I like this particular conclusion. What it says is, letting violation and deprivation rule our children, then the society will be dictated by the savage. Or else, the savage is the new norm in the society. So that's why protecting the future generations is very much important. In India, we do not have a proper regular legal framework to control these particular aspects because a 13 years old, a 13 years girl, she is supposed to have various child protections and she shall not be allowed to take that particular fasting. And she has a right to food and right to nutrition and right to live. All these are violated in this context according to the article. Now the next is nutrient paradox. What does this mean? Now, we are trying to rationalize our subsidies. One of the subsidy is fertilizer subsidy. There is an excessive use of fertilizer in India, and there is no rationale in the use of the fertilizers, but rather we use the cheaper fertilizer. So in this context, what we say is a fertilizer is bound to increase, or else we need to rationalize the fertilizer subsidy, and it is the right time now. So the cash transfers are being initiated or thought out for the farmers, and decontrol of the prices can also be a way forward. So when the market is given a scope to invent, obviously the fertilizers becomes custom tailored to the needs of the farmer and to the deficit of the nutrient in the field. So in this context, presently there is a buyer's market in the fertilizers, that is, internationally the fertilizer prices are coming down because of the surplus in China and additional capacity is created in Saudi Arabia, Africa and also North America. So in this context, India is the right time it can decontrol its prices. And then get into ideas page. Here I am interested to talk about Bay of Bengal's glad tidings. Now the SARC. So the Pakistan has already kept many limitations on the functioning of the SARC. So with regard to the SARC regional connectivity issues, Pakistan did not sign that. So finally, the countries such as BBIN, that is Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Nepal, they have to take that particular regional connectivity forward. In the last year's SARC summit, India has clearly stated that if all the countries come together, it is willing to go all with all of them. If some countries are not willing to come forward in the connectivity plans, whoever are ready to come forward, it's going to go move with them. So, a forum is necessary where the Pakistani obstructionism will be absent. So, in this context, the Bangladesh and then we have this Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they are showing the new enthusiasm for the regionalism. So the BIMSTEC can be a right ground for this. So in the BRICS summit, we are BIMSTEC countries are being called for an outreach. So these Bay of Bengal rim countries, they have many things in commonalities. The major objective is to integrate South Asia with Southeast Asia. It is necessary for the prosperity of the eastern India. And second thing is, the cooperation, they are connected by the sea. The cooperation can be in the tourism, especially the coastal shipping. And second, the counter-terrorism. And the third thing can be related to the exploration of the minerals in the ocean bed. So these are all the things we can develop a cooperation with these countries. And already Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, he has suggested for a developmental network consisting of Sri Lanka, Singapore, and India, a tripartite free trade agreement between these countries. He has categorically said the South India's market and the Sri Lankan market together, it is worth of $500 billion, equivalent to the size of Sweden economy. So in this scenario, so there is a wider market which is available, which can be integrated with Southeast Asia, to which Southeast Asia is ready. So the BIMSTEC can be a proper ground if it is being explored for. That is what is being discussed. Now coming to the economics Nobel. A professor from MIT and a professor from Harvard, they won the economics Nobel. So Mr. Holmstrom from MIT and then Oliver Hart from Harvard together won the economics Nobel now. So in this scenario, what is their research work? How many of you remember this contract theory? So what the contract theory says is this. The efficiency of the work will be high where the focus of the people is maximum. So now outsourcing is an outcome of this contract theory. So their major work is how the contracts have to be devised to create a win-win situation between employer and employee, to create a win-win situation from a firm and a customer. So that is what has led to the Nobel Prize for them. So these are the articles for today. Thank you very much.